Good morning. My name is Michael Smith, and this is my life. It is Monday, July the 3rd of 2017, and for me, it says it's 5:20 in the a.m. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Um, Sundays I like to just kick back and relax, and I really try to not work at all. I really try to not work on anything. I try to just spend time with my family because I know that before long they'll all be gone in the blink of an eye. All six of my children. So yesterday I spent the day lounging around the house. I mean, I did do some stuff. Lounged around the house with my wife Tanny. We watched some TV. I did come down into the studio and then kind of organize some. A lot of times I'll step into the studio and I'll sit down and I'll record an idea real quick, and that's so when I go to write go to do an album. If I for some reason I can't come up with anything, which it's very rare. But I'll have a bunch of half jotted ideas, and at least maybe they're not going to be great songs or whatever, but at least it'll be something to get the juices flowing and get me started and get my brain start rolling. I went through. I think the oldest ideas I rolled through were like from like 2014, so like 3 years old, a little over 3 years old. Some of them probably were. Oh, some of them definitely were older, and some of them are actually complete songs. But it's like I'll in my past I get really. I was in a hard rock heavy metal band called CPX. And after CPX was done, I was still kind of in that hard rock, heavy metal kind of mindset. And so I would write and record songs. And then there was a time where this guy was talking to me about maybe doing a heavy metal band. And so I was just kind of jamming on what I thought some ideas could be. I don't know. And so I did that. And so there was a bunch of finished songs, and maybe one day I'll go back to them and put out. I could probably put out a heavy metal record, but I don't know. It's just not in me right now. It's after it's just boring. Heavy metal's boring for me right now, just because I did it for so long. It's kind of like I listen to the music, and every once in a while I'll hear like one of my classic favorites, and I'll be like, oh wow, cool jam, and I'll listen to it. But for a lot of it, it's just like anymore. I don't know if my heart got tainted by it, just because leaving my band CPX was kind of like a bad breakup with a girlfriend, or it's like one of those breakups where like it's coming, the relationship's not working, it has to end, yet you don't want it to because you remember all the good times, but the relationship's just in a spot. And that's what it was. It was just like the band wasn't doing anything good. It was just like, we were, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but for me it was like I kept doing it because I thought, oh, we had these great times, maybe it'll come back, maybe those great times will come back. And then I just got to the point where artistically I couldn't barely lift my head off the pillow to do it. and I think I was just bored with it. To me, it got to the point where listening to heavy metal was just like listening to a bunch of marbles inside of a metal garbage can rolling down a hill. It was just a bunch of noise. It was just like, it wasn't exciting. It was just like, oh yeah, here we go again. I don't know. So I don't know if I'll ever. But you know what? Now that I say this, I'm such a person of contradiction. I contradict myself so much. Probably next week I'll be like, yeah, those songs are really good. I'm gonna put me out a heavy metal record. But lyrically too, I mean, I'm in a little bit of a different place. I'm a lot more spiritual person now. I've gotten a lot more deep with my spirituality. I don't know. So that was the one little bit of tidbit of work. So I spent the day just kind of lounging around the house with my wife Danny, and she's a real go-getter. She doesn't like taking lazy days. And at any point, if she said she wanted to do something, I would have done it. If she wanted me to build a deck onto the house or something like that, probably one of the most endearing stories of my wife. We have an old house, and my boss warned me. He's like, you're gonna be broke for the rest of your life, because he's like, you've got a pretty young wife, and you've got an old house, and between the two, there's no way you're gonna be able to save money. But so we have this old house, and over the years we put a lot of work into it, and we're still have plans to put more work into it. And I was in my area, wherever I was set up at the time. I think it was up in my bedroom, and I had my laptop and everything, my music stuff set up there for some reason at the time. And I was working on music and kind of looking at stuff, and my wife walks in, and she's like, we had off one of our kids' bedrooms, off our little girl's bedroom, Pearl. You can walk into the attic because the slopes come down. You can just walk into the attic, and it's just a storage area. And we had talked about turning it, and there was already a door there, and everything was really cool. And we talked about, I was like, we should turn that into a walk-in closet for her, because that way she'll have more room in her bedroom. And it also, down the road, we ended up having a couple more kids, so they would be able to fit bunk beds in their room. Yeah. So she came in, and she's like, you know what I'm gonna do today, honey? I was like, no, what's that, babe? And she's like, I'm gonna make that closet today. And I was just kind of sitting there, and was like, okay, yeah, you can do it. And my wife can do anything she puts her mind to. So she turns around and walks out of the room. I kept working on music on my laptop. Oh my gosh, probably like an hour, 2 hours go by. And she comes walking in. She's like, hey babe, I need your help real quick with something. Could you come into the attic with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I pause whatever, and I follow her, and we walk into the attic, and I'm looking around, and I was like, what do you need help with? And she's like, I need to turn this into a closet. Like nothing had been done. She just didn't know where to start. And so I was like, okay. So I went and I closed out all my files and shut down my computer and put my stuff away. And I went in there, and we started working on a closet. And now my Pearl girl has a walk-in closet, and that she shares with her little brother Zach, and soon her other little brother Joseph, and he moves into that room once he gets old enough to be in his own crib and out of the bassinet. Yeah, so that was our day yesterday. It was a lazy day, and it didn't have to be, but I just believe in spending time with family. There was a period in my life where I wrote music reviews. It was after I got done with my band CPX, and I decided, I want to write music reviews because I like to write, and I want to experiment with that, and I want to work on that part of my skill set, and I love music. And I would come home from church or whatever, and I would spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, 7, 8 hours down in my studio just listening to music and writing, and plus other times throughout the week. And I just got to the point where I realized that I was missing out on the people who love me and who are around me every single day. And so it's been kind of a goal, it's been a mission of mine to focus on the people who I love. There's lots to being an artist. It's really easy to be egocentric because you always want to work on your art because you think art is important and your art's important. And I think to a degree it is. But it's also, for me, I found it immensely important, immensely helpful to focus on those who love me and who are around me, because that's real life. It's kind of like the difference between, going out on a Friday night and versus staying home and scrolling Facebook and Twitter and whatever other social medias you may be involved in. You know, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.